Hey everyone, today we're going to dig into something huge in the world of AI. Why so many promising projects get stuck in pilot mode and never actually deliver real results for the business. It's time to move past the hype and get real about what it takes to create a lasting impact.
You know, this is the question that's on every leader's mind. You've probably run the experiments, you've seen the cool demos, but actually turning that potential into something that changes how your business operates, that's where everything just seems to grind to a halt. So, what's really going wrong here? And here's the kicker, the core argument we're going to explore today. The problem isn't the tech. It's not the models, it's not the algorithms. The real breakdown, according to the source material, is happening at the strategic level. It's a failure of vision. It's a failure of leadership. Which brings us to our first big idea, what's called the AI activity trap. This is that state a ton of organizations find themselves in, where there's a lot of motion, right? Lots of experiments, lots of buzz, but none of it is actually moving the business forward. It's the classic case of being busy, but not being effective. So take a look at these symptoms. Does any of this feel familiar? You've got those endless pilot projects that never seem to go anywhere. Or maybe different teams are off in their own silos, accidentally solving the same problem twice. Or you're constantly being pushed to buy the latest, shiniest tool from a vendor. This right here, this is the activity trap in action. Lots of motion, but no real movement on the bottom line. So the big question is, how do you escape this trap? Well, the answer is to completely reframe what we even mean by an AI vision. It's not some lofty, inspiring mission statement you put on a poster. A useful vision is actually a practical, disciplined guide for action. Think of it as a constraint system. Okay, let's break this down because it's so important. On the left, you've got the useless vision. Something like, we're going to use AI to improve the customer experience. It sounds nice, but it's so broad it's totally meaningless. It doesn't help anyone decide what to actually do on Monday morning. But on the right, you have a useful vision. It acts like a filter. It clearly tells people where to focus and, just as important, where not to. It creates boundaries, which lets your teams move fast and make consistent decisions without needing constant hand-holding. Now, to build this kind of powerful, useful vision, you have to get 3 foundational pieces right. And honestly, these are the things that get overlooked all the time in the rush to get the cool new tech. It all comes down to your strategy, your data, and your people. So, first principle, and this is absolutely critical, everything has to be attached to the economics. You don't start by asking, hey, what cool things can we do with AI? No, you start by asking, what's the biggest business problem we need to solve? Any AI project that you can't explicitly tie to a measurable outcome, like cutting costs or boosting revenue, is just an experiment. And experiments, well, they rarely survive. And this next point, it totally flips the common conversation on its head. You know, executives love to talk about the models and the platforms, but the hard reality is most AI projects don't fail because of the model. They fail because of the data. Is it available? Is it clean? Is it accessible? If you can't say yes to all of those, then the best model in the world is absolutely useless. Data is the real bottleneck. And finally, we have people. Look, you can have the perfect strategy and the most pristine data, but if your team doesn't trust or understand the AI system, they're just not going to use it. And here's the key. Resistance isn't something you can fix with a memo. It's a participation problem. You have to involve the actual users early on in the design process. They need to see AI as a tool that helps them, not some threat that's here to replace them. All right, so we've diagnosed the problem, we've looked at the core principles. Now, let's get practical. How does this all come together? Let's walk through a repeatable process for building an AI vision that actually scales and delivers results. As you can see, this isn't just a one-and-done checklist. It's a continuous cycle. You start by defining a clear business objective, not a tech one. Then you obsess over framing the problem before you even whisper the word solution. And notice, selecting a use case, that's step 4. It only happens after you've done a ruthless assessment of your data. And all along the way, you're engaging users and building for scale right from day one. All of this really leads us to a pretty powerful conclusion. Getting AI right isn't about managing another technology project. It's about developing a new leadership discipline. It is a fundamental shift in how the entire organization thinks and operates. And this comparison just illustrates that shift perfectly. We have to move away from thinking of AI as a series of isolated projects with a start and an end date. We need to start seeing it as a permanent core capability of the business.
The goal here isn't just to get some incremental results from a little pilot. It's to build a sustained strategic advantage by fundamentally changing how you operate.
At the end of the day, this is the main takeaway. You can have the absolute best technology in the world, but that alone won't create a competitive edge. The real advantage comes from alignment, aligning that tech with a clear vision, with concrete business outcomes, with ready-to-go data, and with engaged people who are ready to use it. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Is AI just another activity on a long list of things your organization does? Or is it fundamentally changing how your organization thinks? The answer to that question, well, that will determine whether you're stuck in the activity trap or you're actually on the path to creating real, lasting impact. Thanks for watching.